Okay, we finished up our gearbox project on this 256 rate. Uh, got the clutch spring cup and everything assembled on the inside. Filled it up to right along here with number 2 grease that New Holland recommends putting in these things now rather than oil. Uh, Made a gasket for the cover. Got everything finished on the gearbox. Had our little improvements. Put a street L so the vent plug would be turned down so rainwater wouldn't get in it. Put the old tractor gear shift boot, modified it a little bit, put it around the clutch shaft so water wouldn't seep in around it. Added the grease fitting to the dust cap. When I took the old bearing out, it was completely froze up from rust. So got a way for it to get greased now. Added the grease fitting in between the output shaft bearings so we could grease them. So that little project there is done. And while we was waiting on the bearings and seals to come in, we went ahead and pulled the hubs off the wheels and went through the drive dogs and got the drive dogs where they're clicking like they're supposed to. Both springs, the left and the right spring was broke. Replaced the dog on the left side. It was wore down to where the spring catches it on the back. So we got the drive line real good shape right now. Now we're going to start on the tine bar. We got some bad bearings on the tine bar. I know of at least 2. I done got one of them pulled it Saturday evening, so it was rusted up. One of them on this end, on the left end, was rusted pretty bad, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. Okay, I got my tine bar laid over here on my 5-gallon bucket height workbench. And you can see this is the old dust cover. It was completely rusted out, and I just took and popped it off while it was still on the rake. So basically this thing was just getting rained in all the time. You can see the old bearings just shot. Tried to get this thing out Saturday, but it was rusted real bad. So took a crowbar and put the nut back on the stud. Tried to pry against the bar up under the nut. That's where you usually pop them out. This one wasn't going to budge, so already got the snap ring out. In fact, it was rusted pretty bad. Had a pretty bad time of even getting the snap ring off. I'm going to see if I can come up with a way to get this thing out without having to put a torch to it. I just hate heating up stuff like this, but if it comes to that, it does. But it's been soaking in PB Blaster, so hopefully maybe that loosened it up some. We're going to see if we can come up with something to put on here to pull this bearing. I went on the internet over the weekend and really didn't find nothing. Somebody had downloaded a owner's operator's manual for a 256, 258 on YouTube, and it showed basically what we've always got them out. I don't have a owner's manual of my own, so I did find that on the internet. And then it had a vague description of a way to get them out, but it really didn't show any real good pictures on the internet of it. So we're going to see if we can come up with something to get these bearings out a little easier rather than firing up the old heat wrench. Okay, went in the shop, found me an old piece of tailpipe, cut me a section off here. It's about 1.25 inches long. It's 2 1/8 inside diameter. Looks like it fits pretty good on the outside of this end of this tine bar. And got this piece of flat metal. I was looking for a piece. I found a piece in the scrap pile that had a hole already in it. So we're going to see if we can set this thing up, see if we can pull this bearing out. Okay, got everything set up here now. Got all the tools I think I'll need. Alright, we're gonna set our piece of pipe on here. And then we're gonna put our piece of flat metal on there. I may have cut that pipe a little too long, but we're gonna try it. Alright, I got the original nut that was holding it on the rake. See if we can get this thing started. Okay. Alright, I got a 3/8 Allen socket on a little ratchet here. See if I can back this thing up in that nut a little bit. Okay. Like we about got everything lined up here. Alright, we got it snugged up. Everything looks pretty good. Got 1 1/8 inch. See if we can get this thing. Yeah, I heard it pop. Oh yeah. Oh yes, getting easier now. By gosh, I believe we got her if she don't jump. Line from the Andy Griffin show. Oh yeah, getting easier now. Must have got past all that rust. I cleaned the hole out good, but she was pretty rusty. I don't think I've ever had one that had this much trouble getting out, but okay. Alright, we got our pipe there. You can see the old bearing just shot. I wonder if I can get a patent on a piece of pipe and a piece of flat metal. Have to check into that. But there you go, there's a homemade Tine bar bearing puller. Pretty simple. It worked anyway, so a lot of you saying, well, what if you got the outside race? You know, sometimes I've seen these bearing busts, got a few of those out in my time, but sometimes the outer race will be stuck in there when your bearing falls apart. And old guy showed me a secret years ago. Get access to whether you got one or your neighbor farmer's got one or somebody you know's got a stick welder. Just run a bead, weld right in the groove where the ball bearings run in that race. Opposite sides of each other, about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch long. Once you run them two welds, get you a little pry bar or a punch, or I have popped them out with a screwdriver. It's the easiest way I know to get them out. It beats trying to cut them out with a torch or a Dremel tool or whatever. So I'm gonna clean this thing up real good, get all this PB blaster and rust and everything out, and I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna drill and tap for a 1/8 of an inch grease fitting on both ends while I got it out. And if it ain't too much trouble, I may just do all 5 bars. One of them on one end's already got a grease fitting in it. But I'm gonna go with an 1/8 because I believe if you ever have to change these bearings again, you could take that 1/8 of an inch grease fitting out and take a punch and just knock that bearing right out without a whole lot of trouble. So we're gonna see what happens. Till next time, see ya.